Good morning.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura Johanna. Welcome to this sweet and simple morning flow. If you're anything like me, your body takes a while to wake up in the morning. So I cannot do any type of rigorous asana first thing in the morning. So this is super gentle. If you're someone who wakes up and has a lot of energy, you might look for a more stimulating flow, but this one is gonna wake the body up very gradually. And we're actually going to start off lying down and then work our way up. I recommend for this practice that you have 2 yoga blocks. So you can take those and have them handy. And we'll start off lying down. So find a way that's comfortable for you to recline. You might keep your knees bent, even let the inner knees come to touch, or you could extend the legs and get really comfortable here on the ground. Take some big breaths and feel your body from the inside. Notice what you find. Just scan. You're not really looking to hold on to anything or change anything. It's more like being in the passenger seat of a car and watching things as they pass by. So you're just noticing. So this is a sequence that I often do very early in the morning after my meditation practice. This is what serves my body, but please feel free to adapt and be creative. Just take a few more breaths here, really letting the body get heavy. And then with your next inhale, take your arms up and overhead. Stretch your arms and your legs in opposite directions. I like to hook my thumbs overhead here. You might do something else. And then reach longer through your right side. So stretch your right heel away from your right fingertips. You'll contract a little bit through the left waistline. And then other side, stretch longer through the left heel. And the left fingertips get long on your left side and a little bit shorter on your right side. And then stretch equally long left and right sides of the body. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, release your arms, bend your knees, and place your feet to the floor. And start to rock your knees from left to right a few times. And this can be really nice and slow. Sometimes I like to add cactus arms here, but if that doesn't feel right for your shoulders, you can do something else. And then the next time your knees fall to the left, pause there. You might think about engaging through your right glutes a little bit to open up the front of the right hip. Squeezing the right glutes will lift the right hip a little bit further away from the ground. And then release, inhale back to center. Exhale over to the right. Pause for a moment there. Create some space through the front of the left hip. And again, maybe squeeze the left glutes, create a little bit more lift and space there. And then inhale the knees back to center. Draw both knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a gentle hug and rock from side to side. You might wrap your forearms around your shins or just place your hands on your kneecaps. Then release your left foot to the floor. Keep hugging your right knee in and circle your right ankle a few times. First one direction and then the other, and point and flex. Spread the toes. Clasp your hands behind the right thigh. Take your right heel up towards the sky. Let your hips be heavy and press your right thigh bone, that big femur bone, into the palms of your hands. And we're not seeking to get a super deep stretch here, but more to wake up the muscles of the legs. Another nice thing to do a few times might be to bend and straighten your right knee. So that we're starting to encourage some movement in the hamstrings. When muscles are healthy and functioning properly, they slide. They're very slippery, and this is helping the hamstrings get more slidey. And then release, extend the right heel back up towards the sky. Release your hands, but keep your right leg lifted, and then lower and lift your right leg a few times. We'll do this a total of 5 times. Go nice and slow. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the leg this time, just let it hover a couple of inches off of the floor. Flex your toes back towards your right knee. Firm your right thigh. Soften your torso, your shoulders, your jaw, your eyes. So we're just starting to power up the hip flexors here. And then in just a moment, we're going to lift the right leg, but I want you to go so slowly. So with your next inhale, just begin super slow motion to pull the right leg back up towards the sky. And go slower than you want to and feel everything. And then bend your right knee, place your right foot to the floor, hug your left knee in. Give it a little squeeze, circle out your left ankle. Point and flex. And then clasp your hands your second favorite way behind the left thigh. Take your left heel up. It's okay if the leg doesn't come all the way straight. Keep your spine long. And just firm the muscles of your thigh. Extend up through the heel. And then option again to bend and straighten the knee a few times. And then bring your leg back towards straight. Release your arms. And 5 times we'll lower and then lift the left leg. Again, nice, slow, steady pace. Don't rush it. Really feel everything. 3 more. 3. 2. And 1. This time lower the leg. Just let it hover a few inches off of the ground. Really firm all of the muscles of your left leg. Extend out through your left heel as you pull your toes back towards you. And then again, when we come up with the left leg in just a moment, go so slow. With your next inhale, begin that very slow journey up with the left leg. And this hopefully is creating some heat for you in your hip flexors and in your quads. And when eventually, take your time, your leg reaches vertical, release your foot back down to the floor. Hug both knees back in towards your chest. Another gentle hug here. And then release your arms. So this is similar but a little different to the rocking of the knees we did before. So this time the knees will stay together and you'll drop them towards the left. They won't touch the floor. And then drop them towards the right. So they're just hovering off of the ground. And this is a nice movement I've learned from the physical therapy world. This is nice for the core and the low back. But if it doesn't feel right to you, you can do what we did before if that felt a little bit sweeter. Good, and then inhale the knees back to center. This time we're gonna roll over onto our fronts. So take your time and roll to lie down on your belly and make some support for your forehead. You could stack your hands or stack fists or make prayer hands and let your forehead rest on your thumbs. And get, again, heavy here and feel the breath. Then with your next inhale, we'll lift up into a really gentle Sphinx pose. So elbows a teensy bit forward of the shoulders. Root down through the tops of your feet, press your pubic bone down, and then lengthen from your belly button all the way up to your sternum. Shoulders draw gently back. Skull draws gently back. And your glutes are working here. So sometimes for me in the early morning, my low back, this is too much for it. So if that's the case for you, a few things that you can do are press it down more through the knees so that the hips lift and you're taking a lot of that extension out of the lumbar spine. So that's a nice option to just sort of then play around with things as they start to warm up and open. And then as you next exhale, ground your hands, tuck your toes, press your seat towards your heels, and find child's pose. Reach your fingertips forward and release your forehead either to a block or all the way down to your mat. Breathe into your back body and elongate back through your hips. With your next inhale, gaze forward, lift up onto your fingertips, and begin to walk your hands over to the left. You might even let your chest rest on your left thigh. Crawl your fingertips as far away from you as they'll go, and release the head. Pull your right outer hip back. Create space between your right ribs. Then inhale, walk your hands back to center and over to the other side. Again, maybe your chest rests across your right thigh. Reach your fingertips as far away from you as they'll go and release your head. Left outer hip pulls back, left ribs reach towards the left. And then inhale back to center and exhale to release your forehead. Take some big breaths here. Then as you next inhale, we'll glide forward to hands and knees. Ground down through your palms, spread your fingers, and claw the earth gently with your fingertips. Shoulders are under wrists, knees are a teensy bit forward of the hips. This helps keep a neutral spine, neutral pelvis. Take a few cat and cow rolls. So as you inhale, tilt your sits bones to the sky, broaden your belly, drop your rib cage, gaze forward. Shoulders will move towards one another on your spine. Pause here and just breathe. And as you exhale, begin to slide your sits bones down towards the backs of your knees, puff through the back of your heart, and drop your head. Contract through your whole front body. Imagine that you could get your pubic bone and your forehead to touch. And then as you inhale, glide back into cow pose. And you can decide if it feels good to hold these shapes for a couple of breaths, do that. Or you can begin to ride the breath and move from shape to shape with every inhale and every exhale. Then as you inhale, come back to a neutral spine, come back to center. Keep the arms really strong. Step your left tippy toes back behind you without letting anything change in the spine. So core is really integrated here. Root into the back of your skull. Let your throat remain open, and then as you inhale, pick your left leg up any amount. You don't have to go super high. Keep the left hip in line with the right. Just extend back through the left heel. And then as you're ready, bend the left knee and we'll pulse the left heel up and down a few times. Again, don't let this movement come into the low back. This is just happening from the hip through the firing of the glutes. Let's do 5 more of these little pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for just a moment at the top of this shape. And then release the left knee down. Other side, step your right leg back behind you. Pause for a moment here. Firm your right thigh. Then as you inhale, pick your right leg up. It doesn't need to go high. And just take a few breaths here. If your wrists are starting to get tired, you can always come to fists or wrap the edges of your fingers around a yoga block. Or you can just think about working your fingers a little bit more. That can sometimes help. Bend your right knee and we'll pulse the right heel up and down a few times. Again, make sure that your spine is really long. Nothing is moving and wiggling here in the low back. This is just isolated through the hips. The glutes are the muscles the glute max is the muscle that extends the hip. So that's what we want to fire. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for a moment at the top. And then exhale and release. Walk your hands to the top of your mat. Keep your hips over your knees and then drop your head and your heart towards the earth. You could place a block underneath your forehead or release your forehead all the way. Press your hands really strongly down so the forearms and the armpits lift away from your mat. Then inhale to lift your head, walk your hands back underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes. So if you're not quite ready for downward facing dog, puppy pose, which we just did, is a great option. If you're feeling warmed up enough, then toes tucked, lift the knees and press the hips towards the sky and slightly back. It's okay if the knees are bent here. Actually, that's really good if the knees are bent. So don't even worry about straightening the legs, especially early in the morning, but also ever. Think about keeping that power through your hands and your arms. Ears in line with biceps, press the earth away from you, and just be soft here. And maybe it feels good to pedal out the feet. And what we mean when we say that is that you're bending the knees one at a time. So it's almost like your feet are taking this little walk. And as you do this, you can pull the outer hip of the straight leg back, and you'll get a nice stretch into your waistline. Or if there's any other rituals that you like to take in your down dog, explore those movements now. And then as you're ready, start to walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Grab your blocks, bring your hands onto them, feet are hip width apart. Keep that little micro bend in the knees. Drop your head completely. Maybe give it a little shake. Make sure the weight in the feet is pretty even so it hasn't dropped all the way back into the heels. There's still a little bit in the balls of the feet. Then as you inhale, find a halfway lift. Lengthen your heart forward, and now you might press your legs a little bit more towards straight, but they never need to come all the way straight here. It's okay. Keep your low belly lifted and the back of the neck long. Full breath in and a full breath out. Take a little bend in your knees, hands to hips, point elbows to the sky, press into your legs, and with an inhale, breath rise all the way up. Then as you exhale, release your arms. Take a few moments here just to feel this strength in your legs. As you inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Interlace your fingers except for the index finger and thumbs. Exhale, take a side bend to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. And exhale, right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Inhale, reach arms up to the sky. Keep your knees soft as you exhale. Reach your hands away from you to forward fold. So you're keeping your core as a really big integral part of this action. Release into your Uttanasana. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, take your left leg back. Move your blocks back in line with your right foot. Keep your left thigh lifted for a few breaths. Magnetize your feet towards one another as you reach your heart forward. Keep the eyes soft. Root down through your right foot. Legs are strong. Big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale. And as you exhale, sink your left knee to the floor. Untuck your left toes. Walk your hands up onto your right thigh. Stay more upright with the torso neutral in the pelvis, so we're not dumping forward here. Everything is staying really long. As you inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky, and then as you exhale, twist open to the right. You might bring your left hand to your outer right thigh and gaze towards your right thumb. Good, then inhale, extend your left arm forward again. As you exhale, left hand to the floor or to your block. Right arm towards the sky. You could stay here or tuck your left toes and lift your left knee. Keep your hips nice and buoyant here. Keep some lift through the left thigh bone. This is going to be gentler on your low back. Full breath in. And then exhale, right hand down. Inhale, step your left foot forward. Exhale, take your right leg back. Low lunge, other side. So keep the right knee lifted for a few breaths. Extend back through your right heel, forward through your heart. As you next exhale, drop your right knee to the floor or to a towel or a blanket. Bring your hands up onto your front thigh. Keep lifting your low belly in and up, spine is long. As you inhale, both arms reach up. And as you exhale, rotate to the left. Hips don't move, so they'll stay nice and squared. Right hand might come to outer left thigh, and you might turn your gaze over towards your left thumb. Inhale, reach your right arm forward once again. Exhale, right hand to the floor to a block. Left arm straight up. Stay here or tuck your right toes. Lift your right knee. And again, keep some lift in the hips here. So we don't need to sink the hips super far down. Spin your right rib cage up towards your left thumb. Then exhale, left hand down. Inhale to bring your right leg forward. Shift your blocks out in front of you. And exhale to fold. Hands to hips, elbows to the sky. Press into your legs. Inhale, rise up. And as you exhale, take a wide stance with your legs. Turn to face the long edge of your mat. As you inhale, reach your heart up towards the sky. Maybe lean back into your scapula. And then as you exhale, dive forward again, keeping the spine really long so your core has to switch on. Then release hands to the floor or to blocks. Press your thigh bones back. Strong connection through the soles of your feet. Feel free to stay here or to begin a few lateral lunges, shifting your weight from side to side. So you'll bend one knee and then the other. And as you do this, if you're choosing this option, think about pressing your hips back And the spine is long. This one always feels so good to me in the morning. And you can play if you want to hang out on one side or lift the opposite heel. There's so many little adjustments that you can do to suit the needs of your hips. And then we'll meet back in center, just a nice release through the upper back, the jaw, the eyes. And then as you inhale, lengthen through your heart, ground your palms, strong legs, hands to hips, and ride an inhale breath all the way back up. As you exhale, step your legs together and maybe give them a little shake. So that's the end of our practice. Feel free to add on anything that you'd like to add here. Maybe there's some joint movements that you'd like to do, or a little bit more in the shoulders. So give yourself any other final poses that your body needs. And we're not necessarily going to end with a formal Shavasana. I do invite you to bring your blocks back together and take a seat. If you wanted any final shapes, you could always pause the video. Find a comfortable seat, close your eyes. So rather than Shavasana, we're just going to close with a little bit of breath. So with the eyes soft or closed, I invite you, especially if it is the morning, but you can do this at any time in your day, to just visualize, imagine what the rest of your morning will hold. Any major events. And then what will your afternoon be like? And your evening. And perhaps set an intention for your day, keeping in mind these larger projects or tasks, any interactions that you'll have. And if no intention is coming up, that's okay. And it can be very seemingly small, just maybe staying present or being kind. And then sprinkle that intention throughout your day as you watch yourself in your mind's eye move throughout the rest of your day. And then bring your hands to prayer at the center of your heart. Dip your chin in towards your chest. If you feel any benefit from your practice today, perhaps offer that up to someone in your life who could use it. Thank you so much for doing this morning practice with me. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.